Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning. Uh, Happy to be here with you. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you here. Let's see who else trickles in on Zoom. And greetings to you all who I can see and the people I can't see on Facebook and whoever may be watching this later on YouTube. Happy to be with you this morning. Today we're going to meditate, of course. I'm going to talk about attachment, detachment, and non-attachment. I think Buddha's teachings on attachment can be confusing. And hi, Greg. Nice to see you. And I'm in a couple of Dharma-oriented discussion groups, and there has been some discussion and confusion about what exactly that means. So I'm going to be discussing the teachings on attachment and the difference between detachment and non-attachment. But first, let's meditate. So I invite you to find a comfortable meditation posture. That is one in which you can be alert but relaxed. If you're sitting, sit with your spine straight, not like rigid straight, like tensing the muscles in your back, but your back has a natural curve. Just let that happen. And let your shoulders relax. Some people have contacted me, they have back issues, so they prefer to meditate laying down, which is fine. There's all kinds of meditation postures. If you're going to meditate laying on your back, I suggest you rest your one arm at a 90-degree angle with like your elbow on the floor but your hand up. That way, if you fall asleep, which many of us do while meditating, your hand will come down and you'll wake up. So let's find a posture where we can feel centered and just settle into letting gravity do its thing. If you're sitting, you might want to rock back and forth for just a couple of seconds, a little bit, and have your body find a center. Rock side to side. Let your body come to a center like a pendulum. Let's start by noticing the touch points. Notice the sensation of your bottom on the cushion or your back on the floor. If you're in a chair, noticing the sensations of your feet resting on the floor. Just coming into your body in the present moment. Noticing the sensations of your hands resting in your lap. Noticing the ambient temperature in the room, what it feels like to be sitting in this room in this moment. Sensations of the body breathing. And let's take a few slow, deep breaths just to connect to the breath in the body. Noticing the sensations of the chest expanding, maybe the back straightening a little on the in breath. Noticing the sensations of the body releasing, maybe contracting a little on the out breath. And as you exhale on the out breath, just begin the process to relax and soften. Relaxing the muscles in your face, around your eyes, they do a lot of work. Just letting your eyes roll back in their sockets. Your eyes gently closed. And letting your breathing return to normal. And continuing on the out breath to whatever degree you can. Just relaxing the shoulders and the chest. Noticing where you might be holding any tension or tightness. If you can let go of that, that's good. If you can't, that's okay too. Just noticing. Letting your belly be soft. We hold our bellies in a lot. There's a lot of tension there. Just let your belly hang and be soft. And let your attention and your focus come to your breathing. Not trying to do anything with the breath, just riding it, observing it, joining it. Some people do this by focusing on the sensations of air moving in and out of their nose. Some people do this by focusing on the sensations of the chest or belly moving in and out. Whatever works for you. Just focusing on the sensations of the body breathing and letting your awareness and your attention rest there. Just being with the sensations of the body breathing in this moment. Your mind wanders off in thought. That's okay. It does that. It's supposed to do that. It's all good. When you notice, just firmly but gently, as you would be teaching a puppy to heel, just firmly, gently bring it back, bring your attention back to the breath as often as you need to. It's all good. You can't do this wrong. This is a gentleness practice. Just keeping, bringing your attention back to your breathing. And staying with it as long as you can. When you notice you wandered off, just come back. All good. Thoughts arise, feelings arise, sensation. You're just noticing. You may notice right away or not. When you notice, just come back to following the sensations of the body breathing. And as we come towards the end of this sitting, just noticing the state of your mind and body in this moment. May it be that the benefits of this practice today have helped you be more centered within yourself. And from that space can grow compassion and kindness, not wanting things to be different, not attaching to outcomes. May it be that this practice enables and encourages us today to see the world through the lens of kindness and compassion, to view those around us with kind eyes. May the benefits of this practice enable us to bring kindness and compassion and centeredness to our households, to our neighborhoods, to our towns, to the people we meet, their friends and loved ones, the people we just pass by, the checker at the store, someone whose gaze you might catch walking down the street and smile. May it be that this practice helps us walk through the world as a kind, compassionate presence. May the benefits of this practice be a benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice. Happy to be here with you this morning. A couple of announcements. Most of you know that I recently relocated to the Gulf Coast of Florida, and I'm having what some people have referred to as the Florida initiation. There's a hurricane coming, and I'm trying to arrange for someone else to substitute for me next week in case I have either evacuated or I'm sitting here without power. So on the off chance that you log in next Sunday and there's nobody here, I'm okay. I'm just a little more in the dark than usual, or someplace where I don't have access to the net. So, as usual, I have put usual information in the Zoom chat. Information on how to find these sessions every week. Information on how to get in touch with me if you feel like you want to or need to or have any questions or anything you want to say or talk about. Access to my website, and at the bottom a link for donations if you feel so inclined. There is absolutely no requirement for that. I do this for fun and for free. So Today we're going to talk about the relation between attachment, detachment, and non-attachment. And what prompted me to choose this as a topic is I'm involved in a couple of Buddhist and Dharma-oriented discussions online, and there was someone who was talking about the pain of dealing with an addicted family member, which is an extremely painful thing to have to go through, and wondering if the teaching on attachment meant this person needed to completely detach from that person, like move away, not have a relationship, throw them out of the house. And there's a lot of really great discussion about that, and it doesn't mean that at all. Buddha's principal focus was on suffering, the nature of suffering, and the solution to suffering. And he identified attachment as the principal root of suffering, and that's very simple and complicated at the same time. And what he was pointing to was the simple truth that all things are impermanent. Life is changing all the time, things are shifting all the time. That's just the way it is, it's the natural process. And we tend to get attached to things that are shifting. So when they shift, then we're suffering because we want it to be other than that it is. So it's basically an attachment to things other than as they are. We get attached to our desires. We want things to be a certain way. We want people to be a certain way. We crave permanence in an impermanent world. This shows up. If you think you're enlightened and really awakened, spend more time with your family. See how that goes. Because Jack Kornfield made that observation. Because that's where, the triggers are. We want people to be well. We want to love them. We do love them. We start being attached to the way we think their lives should look. My drug addicted brother, my, mentally ill friend who I've known, well, since I had hair, before I had this. Wanting them to be well, and being not averse to my experience of that. So non-attachment is different from detachment. Detachment is not actually the teaching. Non-attachment means we meet this with love and compassion. Letting go of attachment in our personal relationships, being attached to needing our relationships or people to be a certain way. Usually other than the way they are. It's kind of self-centered way of relating to people, focusing on the self and my self needs from that person rather than focusing on, I just love this person and I want them to be well. And reading about this, I came upon a quote that the difference between love and attachment is I need something from you. I need you to be a certain way so that I can be okay. I need you to make me feel good. Love says, I want you to be okay and feel good about yourself and your life. To the degree that I can participate in that, I will. And while an attitude of non-attachment is essential, it would be sadly misguided to imagine that we need to give up love and affection for our children, for our family members, for the people we love. What we need to surrender is the attachment to having them be different than they are. So how do we meet this? We meet this with kindness. I've talked before about metta practice, the practice of loving kindness, which starts with wishing ourselves, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be safe, may I be at ease and at peace. So we start with self-compassion and self-care. And from there, we can look at the people we love and say, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be safe, may you be at ease and at peace. As long as my happiness is attached to your way of being, that doesn't lead to happiness for either of us. And it kind of makes you a higher power of mine because my sense of well-being is tethered to what you do. So what I'm talking about is learning to detach my sense of well-being from your path. I still love you and I'm still feel compassion, but I'm learning to be okay with me, whatever is going on with you. That's what non-attachment is. How do we do this? One of the things we can practice is not being attached to our own state of mind. Feelings. I feel good. I feel happy. I'm going to embrace that. Okay. I feel sad. I'm grieving. I'm going to meet that with some sort of aversion. And as long as we let our relationships trigger that ping pong effect of attachment and aversion, we can't be centered. We can't be happy. We can't feel good about our lives. It makes it harder to do that. Sometimes we're going to grieve. How do we meet ourselves with compassion in those moments? During my time as a therapist, I did a lot of grief counseling. That's actually the core of my training, was working in a hospice for a couple of years. And people get attached to their grief. They feel like they can't start to feel well again after someone has died because then they're not honoring that person. So that is a form of being attached to having our internal process unfold a certain way. And we don't have a lot of control over that. Last week, or the week before, I quoted one of the first Zen teachers I ever encountered, like 35 or maybe close to 40 years ago now, who was asked, how do I deal with these feelings? And I knew that the person who asked that question, and I knew that he was going through a particularly difficult period. And the teacher said, bow to your feelings, and said, welcome them, be kind to them, treat them as honored guests, and eventually they will leave. Our feelings and our states of mind come and go. If we attach to them, it just gets harder. If we meet them with aversion, which is a form of attachment, attaching to wanting it to be different, that leads to suffering. So we're going to feel grief sometimes, we're going to feel joy sometimes, and it all comes and goes. And learning to be okay with just the coming and the going of it. That's what is meant by non-attachment. One of the things that Buddha identified in his many discourses about attachment, one of the sources of suffering in attachment is attachment to what he described as attachment to views. This is my point of view, I'm attached to it. There's a great deal of suffering that goes along with that. Just look at the political system. Without saying who's right, who's wrong, everybody is attached to the way they think it should be, and we're in chaos. I have a really good friend, somebody I've known since childhood, lives in middle of nowhere, North Carolina. Now, we grew up in New York. And his father had a vision for how he wanted him to be. He wanted him to be like white collar, educated, classic New York liberal, professional. Um, my friend lives in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. He's chief mechanic. He never went to college, but he's also one of those guys. If you strand him on an island with a baseball, a chicken, and a rock, you come back in a year and he's built an entire estate. He's farming it. He works in a manufacturing plant as a machinist. He's the guy who can fix anything. He's politically to the right. There's a lot of conflict in that relationship because both wants the other to be different. So when we relinquish our attachments to the way we think things should be, the way we think people should be, we suffer less. When we're attached to outcomes, and it's hard not to be attached to outcomes. I want people to be well. And I'm willing to be with the grief of being in relationship with some people who are not well. We can offer love, we can offer guidance, we can offer compassion. But if we are attached to an outcome, to getting what we want, to having others' behavior unfold in a way that makes us comfortable, that's a barrier to happiness for all of us. Not just us, but them as well. This doesn't mean we don't care. We care deeply, or this wouldn't be hard. But it includes a willingness to be uncomfortable with how someone's life is going, to find a path to be okay with ourselves at the same time. One of my oldest, closest friends, my poetic mentor, if I'm a good poet, which isn't for me to judge, it has a lot to do with this guy. His daughter was a heroin addict, and that's extremely difficult to deal with. And he was very attached to her being a certain way, and to her getting in recovery and staying in recovery and blah blah, all that. I have a lot of experience with addiction and with addicts, and some people that's the path, and some people it's not. But there was just always this tension and unhappiness in their relationship because neither of them was getting what they wanted that other person to be. So non-attachment includes just meeting people where they are, meeting circumstances as they are, liberating ourselves from this ping pong that we tend to get stuck in of attachment and aversion, attachment and aversion, attachment and aversion. And the effect of mindfulness is it helps us notice when we're going down that road. Meditation is like a microcosm lab where we can take some time every day for me, twice a day for me actually, sometimes 3 times, and observe my mind as it's doing all this. And the more you practice, the benefits of meditation are subtle, but they're cumulative, they add up. The more you practice on a regular basis, the more you'll start to see how the mind just sort of does this. And we tend to be attached to wanting to be a certain way. I have issues with food and weight. I have an eating disorder. And I also have a thyroid condition, which makes it really hard to lose weight. And that's okay. I'm eating well. I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to the gym. And I defy anybody to watch an hour of television and not get a message that tells you should be a certain way, that you should look like the cover of GQ or Cosmo. And nobody actually looks like that, by the way. Those people are airbrushed to look like that. So my challenge is to not be attached to all those images I keep seeing in the popular culture of the way my body should be, and recognize that I'm doing the best I can. Some days I feel really good. Some days not so much. I have some health issues, and that's the way it goes, man. Mindfulness of the body means mindfulness of the body being as it is. And one day at a time, little by little, we get to notice when we're clinging to wanting it to be other than it is. So last week I talked about self-acceptance and self-compassion, and I've done talks about acceptance, and that really is the key. In Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a passage that says acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. That's what non-attachment is. So I invite you to honor your own process, and I invite you to bow to your feelings. I invite you to remain compassionate and loving without the expectation that the people around you will be different, because that just creates suffering for both of you. I invite you to be compassionate with yourself as you navigate whatever difficulties you encounter in the world, and to not be attached to needing things to be different than they are. So I thank you for your kind attention this morning. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Anything they want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide?
It's really interesting what you were saying about wanting to help people, but not getting attached to them changing. So my experience was I always would want to get advice like you should go to AA meetings, you should get a therapist, you should meditate. Well, I can't meditate. Well, meditation works well for me. You should try it. Don't say you can't do it. I know you can. And you want to help so badly. You want to give advice, but then when they don't follow your advice, you get upset about it and you take it personally. Right? So I started to realize that's not doing anybody any good. And now I don't get upset if people don't follow my advice. But then I start to wonder if they're not following it, and I know there's a 95% chance they won't, should I keep giving advice at all, or should I just stop doing that completely? If I really believe that meditation and therapy and other things will help them, should I keep proffering these ideas, or if I know that they're not going to follow them, in all likelihood, should I just stop doing that and just offer love and support instead?
I have a couple thoughts on this. One, I learned from my early days in AA. The best we can do is offer information. We can't get anybody to do anything. I mean, can anybody get you to do something you don't want to do? Okay. We can offer information, we can point at the path. We can do that once, we can do that twice. After that, it's badgering. The people who have come to me for advice, and I start with, I don't claim to actually know anything, but here's what I think. They know how I feel and what I think. I don't have to keep reminding them. So I pray for them. I do metta practice for them. I wish them well. I try to detach my sense of well-being from whatever is going on with them, and I recognize that their path is their path. It is not my path. Their path is not leading through my backyard. Right? They are not on the lawn that I'm watering. And everyone's doing the best they can. So we offer love, we offer compassion, and we don't get attached to the outcome. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I think you're right. I think once you've said something twice, that's probably enough.
It might be once more than is necessary.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I will keep doing that. Thank you, Ken.
Happy to show up for you. Let me just check the Facebook feed. In past weeks, I have actually forgotten to turn on the part of the Facebook feed that lets people message me during these. So I'm remembering to do that again. So, which is an opportunity to not be attached to doing it perfectly and pushing all the buttons. Okay, we are heading towards 10 o'clock. Welcome, Chris. This is your first time in this group. It's a blessing to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Kim, because that's a couple of things that I'm actually working on as far as, I think for me is, for example, I could meet a friend and we're talking, everything's going smooth, and for a couple of days we don't communicate. In my mind, I'm like, how dare you? And I'm having all these thoughts, and I want to cut you out of my life, period. You're gone, you're out of here. You should know better. And this topic this morning just really nailed it for me. Like, why can't I just accept them? Of course, have my boundaries, but just accept them. Why do I have to? Why any of that is necessary is my point. Why can't I just accept people for who they are and stop trying to control people? Because that's still control to me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm working on, because I have a huge control. I'm a control freak. I want to control everything. And that's not okay. So I'm learning to, like today, and I'll be quick with this. Today's Sunday. I did my meeting. I'm here in meditation. I'm going to cook some banana pancakes. And
I'll be right over.
I'm telling you. I'm going to be in silence today. I'm going to be in complete silence and meditate throughout the day and just love on me. Because if I don't love on me, nobody else, and it's no one else's responsibility. How about that? It's my responsibility to take care of myself.
Thank you for that. These are, when I was in grad school, a friend of mine said, life is a series of edges that we step over with gifts along the way. This is an edge to step over. I think that often control, our need for control is linked to our need for safety. If I can control everything around me, nothing's going to hurt me. But this is not something that we do. Learning this sort of non-attachment, it's a practice, and I say this over and over again. These are practices, like practicing the violin, like practicing the piano. And I keep coming back to that great quote, my favorite quote, by the great cellist Pablo Casals, who practiced 8 hours a day. And someone said, "You're Pablo Casals. Why do you practice 8 hours a day?" He said, "Well, I might be learning it." These are practices we engage, and we do the best we can. And it's important not to forget the self-compassion piece. Because we're not going to hear this sort of teaching or read this sort of teaching and flip a switch in the back of our mind and then we're different. The best we can do is be aware of it, and our mindfulness practice helps us notice when we're going down that road and say, "Oh, I don't want to do that." I hope that was helpful. Anything else?
Thank you, Ken, for today's practice. I just wanted to add, for my practice, I know that, we want to help people, but we cannot control them. And that even with us, we cannot even control the things that will happen. But the only control is our thoughts, actions, and speech. And that, other people, if we try to control or try to get results for them, we are just going to be frustrated, and that is attachment to the result. So thank you for reminding us about that.
If you really want to crash your relationship with somebody, try to control them. Because most people aren't going to put up with that. we love the people we love and we want them to be well. And the part of this is it's just really hard to watch people suffering. And I used to believe if everybody would just do things the way I think they should do them, everything will be fine. And now I think if everybody would just do things the way I would do them, they can be as screwed up as me. I don't claim to know the answers. And I can't control you any more than I can't even control my cat. Right? I'm trying to get her to not scratch up the furniture. So people are a wild card. That's the beauty of it. People are unpredictable. That's the beauty of it. We don't love them in spite of. We don't love them anyway. We love them with all of it, the whole package. Thanks for that, Ed. We are at 9:58. Greg, good to see you.
Likewise, Ken.
Yeah, I've missed doing the prison thing with you.
Yeah, and I hope Ian, I think it's going to hit east of Apalachicola, maybe Cedar Key.
Yeah.
So I think you're a little bit west of there.
I'm right on the west coast in north of Clearwater. So.
Oh, okay.
Right in the path.
Do they still have the sponge divers?
I am like about 15 miles north of this Sponge Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a popular thing when I was.
If you need sponges, let me know. I'll send you as many as you need. Thank you all.
Good luck this week, okay? Good luck.
See you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
And